While Americans get Memorial Day, Congress gets Memorial Week. And with Congress out of Washington, D.C., the news is all about President Donald Trump and his administration. It's Bradley Devlin, politics editor of the Daily Signal and host of the Signal Sitdown. Today is May 29th, 2025, and this is your top news in 10. President Donald Trump told reporters on Wednesday that his administration is getting very close to a deal with Iran. The president said, quote, "We're very close to a solution. Now that could change at any moment and change with a phone call, but right now I think they want to make a deal," end quote. Trump fielded questions from the media after Jeanine Pirro, the former prosecutor, judge, and Fox News host, took the oath of office to serve as the interim U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. Trump's comments about a deal with Iran were prompted by a reporter asking if Trump warned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu from taking actions that could disrupt the negotiations. Here's that exchange.
Mr. President, just back on Iran, did you warn Prime Minister Netanyahu against taking some sort of actions that could disrupt the talks there in a phone call last week?
Well, I'd like to be honest. Yes, I did. Next question, please.
Mr. President, just last on sanctions.
I did, yeah.
If Senate Republicans want to push
It's not a warning. I said I don't think it's appropriate.
What exactly did you tell him? Did you
I just said I don't think it's appropriate. We're having very good discussions with him, and I said I don't think it's appropriate right now. Because if we can settle it with a very strong document, very strong, with inspections and no trust. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. So no trust. I want it very strong where we can go in with inspectors, we can take whatever we want, we can blow up whatever we want, but nobody getting killed. We can blow up a lab, but nobody's going to be in the lab, as opposed to everybody being in the lab and blowing it up, right? Two ways of doing it. Yeah, I told him this would be inappropriate to do right now because we're very close to a solution. Now, that could change at any moment, could change with a phone call. But right now, I think they want to make a deal, and if we can make a deal, save a lot of lives.
Reporting prior to Trump's Wednesday remarks claimed the phone call between the two leaders was tense. An Axios report claimed that the Trump administration has become increasingly concerned that Israel might move to bomb Iran's nuclear facilities, regardless of whether or not the talks between the U.S. and Iran continue, because the Israelis' operating window for such a strike could be closing. An April report from the New York Times claimed Netanyahu's government wanted to carry out strikes on Iran sooner, but the Trump administration managed to talk the Israelis down. The State Department is putting a pause on interviewing foreigners applying for student and exchange visas. On Tuesday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio issued an order to U.S. embassies and consulates around the globe to stop interviewing visa candidates until the State Department issues new guidance on the vetting process for student visa applicants. This follows a directive Rubio issued in late March. Amidst continued campus unrest surrounding the ongoing war in the Middle East, Rubio ordered officers processing visas to screen the social media accounts of applicants. Some applicants, the directive said, should be referred to the Fraud Prevention Unit for a, quote, mandatory social media check, end quote. A State Department official confirmed Rubio issued the Tuesday order, according to the New York Times. In a statement provided to the Times, the State Department said the pause was due to the, quote, dynamic, end quote, scheduling of visas to, quote, ensure applicants do not pose a security or safety risk to the United States, end quote. This is only the latest sally against the universities by the Trump administration, which continues to threaten federal funding over DEI policies. The Department of Justice is going after California for allowing biological men to compete in women's sports. The Daily Signal's Tyler O'Neill reports that the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division informed California officials on Wednesday that it is opening an investigation into whether the Golden State violates federal civil rights law by allowing males to compete in women's sports. Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Harmeet Dillon said in a statement that, quote, Title IX exists to protect women and girls in education. It is perverse to allow males to compete against girls, invade their private spaces, and take their trophies. This division will aggressively defend women's hard-fought rights to equal educational opportunities, end quote. The investigation aims to determine whether California, its senior legal, educational, and athletic organizations, and the Jurupa Unified School District violated Title IX, a federal civil rights law forbidding discrimination on the basis of sex in educational settings. The Justice Department's investigation is also taking a look at AB 1266, a bill passed by the California legislature and codified in the California Education Code, which allows males to compete in women's sports. In a Truth Social post on Tuesday, President Trump condemned California Governor Gavin Newsom for allowing males in women's sports. Quote, California, under the leadership of radical left Democrat Gavin Newsom, continues to illegally allow men to play in women's sports. This week, a transitioned male athlete at a major event won everything and is now qualified to compete in the state finals next weekend. As a male, he was a less than average competitor. As a female, this transitioned person is practically unbeatable. This is not fair and totally demeaning to women and girls, end quote. Just like the universities, Trump is threatening federal funds. Quote, please be hereby advised that large-scale federal funding will be held back, maybe permanently, if the executive order on this subject matter is not adhered to, end quote. Trump noted that Newsom himself admitted that males competing in women's sports is unfair. That from a previous podcast interview with TPUSA's Charlie Kirk. Well, that does it for Top News in 10. I'm Bradley Devlin, politics editor of the Daily Signal, host of the Signal Sitdown, and former women's weightlifting champion. Until next time.